Hello. Oh, I love this already. I'm just about to press the button. We've gone live, and then I've got a message here saying I decided to stay up late again to hang out with everybody. Oh, Sandra's with us. Hello, Sandra. So we are celebrating with Carol, Simone, Amanda. Welcome, and we have lots of you tuning in as well to celebrate 5 years of the Hub. So I'll just give you some backstory because we did have a big party last year. So some of you might think that I've got the years muddled up. So last year was the birth of United ArtSpace, and this year is the Hub. So we did a 5th birthday last year, and it was April 2016, I think, if I've got my maths correct, that I launched the Hub online. The United ArtSpace online, sorry. And then it was a whole year and a half after that I spent developing the Hub, and I had this idea for the Hub. And I remember it was painful to get out in the world. It was one of those projects that I thought I could do in a month, and 18 months later it was still not ready when I decided to press the button. And I just thought, oh my gosh, we have to celebrate that. It's 5 years. And those 5 years ago, I did not imagine that 5 years later it would still be going. I was even unsure whether I would still have the motivation to keep it going. That was my big worry back then. I thought, what if I set up this membership platform and I don't want to do it in a week's time or a month's time or a year's time? And here we are, it makes me feel a bit emotional actually, 5 years on. And to think of the artists that have come through the doors, the virtual doors, of course, because it's online, and the lives that we've touched because of people being a member of United ArtSpace and being part of the Hub. We're able to do so much to give back. And that's one thing that's always been really important to me, is to be able to do the big events that I do each year, regardless of whether people join us or not. It's really important for me to do that so that we can touch lives and make a difference on people. And even if that is to wake someone up to be creative, to wake someone up to actually call themselves an artist, which we've had so many people, thousands in fact, throughout the years now, thank me to say, do you know what, just to even acknowledge that I am an artist and that I can be myself is such a gift. And so I just want to express that thanks, first of all, to everybody who's been a member, still a member, because that contribution has helped thousands of people from around the world believe in themselves and take action, and small steps, big steps. We've got lots of people who now are making a living and selling their art, and people who aren't selling, but they're putting it out into the world and making a difference to themselves, their families, other people that are interacting with that art. And it's amazing. So first of all, thank you. And I wanted to bring some of our members in today to talk about their experience of being inside the Hub and a member of United ArtSpace and their journey, so that you can hear how it's impacted them. But we always do these sessions and people always thank me afterwards, because what people share, you'll see yourselves in the people who share today, and you can ask any questions. So Carol, you're at the top of my screen, so I'm going to start with you. Welcome. Can you remember how long you've been a member now? I always ask that one, and it's a really tough one. I think that's the hardest question to ask. We've got to cast our minds back.
I think I started kind of 2.5 years ago, so I'm in my 3rd year.
Yeah. Gosh, that's
started at the same time as Simone, maybe, or like
later.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know, it's gone so fast, and I'm just so looking forward to continuing. This is a very, very, very special group of people, special mentoring. I've learned so much, and I'm on a roll.
Yeah, because let's cast our mind back to when you first joined. You were in a completely different place, weren't you?
I was still working full time. But always dreaming of being a full-time artist. I've worked. I've always worked, but always painted and drew, and but yeah, I feel like I'm really living. It's a dream come true now that I'm able to do it. I'm lucky. I was able to stop working 7 months ago, and now I'm just kind of nosedived into this full time. Me, it was great to be able to be part of the hub for 2 years before that and do all the preparation,
Yeah.
which really, really helped now.
It's the long game, isn't it? This is what I just want to touch on here, because even just sitting here reflecting back on the 5 years that it's taken me to build the hub the way it is right now, like I was just saying before I came on, when I first had the idea to create the hub, I'd never done anything like that in my life. So I thought I could do it in a month, and or a few months, I can set up this platform and I can get it out in the world. And I was just saying how actually it took me about 18 months to just, I think, one, grow the confidence to just do it in the first place. And then figure out the tech and all that side of it was a nightmare. And then there's the other side of finding people as well. So it took a long time to just even get it out into the world and push that button and say, here it is. And even then it was an empty shell. It was empty. And I just said, I have this idea. And I share this in the podcast that's going to be released today, because I just shared, I have this idea. And there were between 30 to 40 people who believed in me back then and said, yeah, we'll sign up. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so then what I had in my head is the hub that it is today, but it's taken me 5 years to build out what I had in my head 5 years ago. And it's the same with art and being an artist, and that we have this vision, and we have to sometimes get out of our own way. We've got to work on our mindset. We've got to work on how we're going to do this, what the work is. Excuse me, I have a cough today. And so that it takes time, doesn't it? And people sometimes think, I don't have 2.5 years to wait. And they want everything now. But yeah, it flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I remember you saying, like, at one point I was worried of, just because of my age, saying I'm jumping into this. I wish I was younger. And you said, well, maybe, I wouldn't have the depth or the understanding of what I'm doing if I would have started younger. And I feel like my why is clear. I'm revisiting my why. I kind of had another moment this weekend where I had some new insights. And so like, it is an ongoing process. I think that the material that you present, that what's on the platform, I mean, I did the 7 keys a couple of years ago, but I revisit my mindset. I revisit my why. My what stays relatively the same, but my why is evolving. I mean, I'm also very, very diligent with the review plan do's, and Your Best Year Yet, like, is my absolute favorite. And so I can't wait to do it again. And I do the weekly review plan do's. I have my book. I think that that's what's helped me the most in moving forward. So if I have any advice for anybody in terms of my own experience, I know it's a lot of work, but it really, really, really helps.
Yeah. And I just want to back that up, and just, if anyone's not inside the hub and wonders what the review plan do sessions are, it's a weekly session. Well, we do a weekly post inside the community to prompt you on what your 3 actions are for the week. But we do a monthly session together as a group, a review plan do session, and we have a worksheet where you can reflect on the month before, and then start to really think about where you're heading in the future and what is important in the month coming up. And we were just saying, Carol, weren't we, before we came on, that I'm twitching already because I haven't printed my weekly planner out, and it really does get you focused on where you're going and what you're doing, and making progress. So anyone that's thinking of joining us, or if you're new, we do have that session every month. You can find it in the events section. And the other thing to mention on that as well is the age thing, because we do have a lot of people reach out to say they feel like they've left it too late, they're too old to be an artist now. Somebody's laughing her head off there. Yeah, he's like, we've got a lot to say on this. And like Carol just said, and I remember saying that to you, Carol, those years ago. I remember looking back now, because I studied art as a mature student, and I do think, as an artist, the older you are, the better your art gets, because you do have more knowledge and experience, and you're wiser, and And that's what art, you bring to your art, is that wealth of experience and the way you see the world. And it's amazing. And you're never too old to translate that into art, and never too late to make it happen. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And then of course you went on to, we can see the art in the background. You got really focused then on what type of art to make, because you didn't really have any direction, did you, either, when you first joined? And look at you now, it's crazy. You've had that solo show and
I
you've got all
know.
that
Yeah,
behind
my
you.
first solo show. I'm part of a co-op gallery. I'm exhibiting all the time, and I'm not selling a lot. I wish I would sell more, but at least I'm out. I feel like I'm out there. I'm being visible. I'm starting to get noticed, so that's important.
I'm just going to jump to the comments really quickly before I move to Simone. Hello. Oh, Chris is tuning in from California. Chris, I'm so happy you're with us celebrating, because I know it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, is it, where you are? That's insane. But thank you so much for being with us. That means the world. Hello, Chris. Marita's on as well. Hello, Marita. David's with us. Hey, hi to Amanda. For one reason, she doesn't read the comments while appearing live.
Puts me off completely.
Chantel says hello, everybody. She's tuning in from Quebec. Paula, hello. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations on 5 years. Thank you. Gloria is tuning in from Australia. Anna's with us as well. David, hold on a minute. Let's just pause for 1 second. Yes, David is an internationally selling artist. He is. David has been actually one of the people that's followed me from day one, so more than 5 years, because the hub launched 5 years ago and I was already doing lives every week for the year and a half before that. Sharon and I we first began just sitting on a Thursday night. I'd get the children to bed, and my husband would have the children, and I'd pop to Sharon's and we'd open a bottle of wine. We would sit and just do a live and just talk. And that's how it all began. And I remember David used to tune in back in those days. But anyway, to cut a very long story short, David was adamant, I will never sell my art. I am not an artist. I am rubbish. I'm this, I'm that. And I remember David joining the hub actually, and said, I'm going to join, but I'm joining not to sell it. I just want to be part of the community. And fast forward, David, to this year, and David started selling the naughty corner. Let me grab my naughty corner. So you may have seen in some of the comments, if you're late to a live session, you get put into the naughty corner, and there's the naughty corner that David created. And has sold these. They're all around the world now. So that just shows you, that's just a great story, isn't it, of how you can be so adamant that you're not going to do something, and then now your prints are all over the world in people's homes. Oh yes, it's live, Kat. Yes, you're on live with us. Hello, Rachel. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, says Rachel. Janine says 5 years and hopefully many more. Absolutely. Oh, we've got so many plans. Cordelia's with us. Hello. Julie's tuning in from the UK. And Marita said, yeah, look at Carol's beautiful artworks behind. Absolutely. Lucy's tuning in from Australia. Hello. The Journal Nook is tuning in from Canada. Hello. Sandra says, I don't think you've stopped working at all, Carol. That's the thing, when you're riding that wave of your what, it's great, isn't it? Chris says to Carol, are you a knitter?
Well, it's because of the painting behind me is my mother's. I am a knitter, but these are my mother's hands. She's 92, and it was the first painting that I created of my hand collection.
Ah, lovely. Because Chris says he is a secret knitter. Lisa, thank you. Lisa's 1.5 years in as a member. Oh, amazing. It's no secret anymore. No, Sandra, you're right. Rachel says, I love the long game as it gives life the opportunity to send good stuff your way that you hadn't thought of. It also stops the overwhelm. Yeah, absolutely. Kat's been a member for 1 year. Best thing I ever did. Oh, we have a lot of people who've just had their anniversaries, actually, the year anniversaries. Christian says, I don't think it can harm my reputation at this point. Oh yeah, Marita was one of those first that I mentioned who signed up when it was empty, and Marita had that belief in me back in those early years. So thank you, because you know, yeah, who knows where I'd be if no one signed up that day. Colin's with us. Hello, Colin. It's a fresh morning in Wellingborough with long, crisp shadows cast across the dewy grass in Castlefields Park. I feel like you should be reading this in a really soft voice. Sorry, I'm late. Couldn't find a link. Yeah, this one's on our page today. I'll come to Simone in a minute. I'm just going to read some more. Aviva, hello, happy birthday, thank you. Looking forward to interacting properly with everyone in 2023 and to realising my potential as a self-employed artist. It was a while since I joined, July 2020, wow, but lots happened in life since then for everyone I know. Big hooray. Oh, thank you. Hub, hub, hooray. I love that. Hub, hub, hooray. God, the term the hub has legs. It's got so many different terms, because we do call each other hubsters, hublings, hub stars. And now we're going to be doing hub, hub, hoorays. Oh, wow. we need to make a note of that, because that's got to go along with the happy dancing, hasn't it? A hub, hub, hooray.
Maybe the happy dancing should change to hubby dancing.
Hubby dancing, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Colin, for the congratulations. I know, I think this is the longest I've stuck to something in my entire life. Literally. That's why I was so scared in the beginning about doing it, because I thought, I'm not really known for committing to things, so I didn't really want to like start it and then let people down and all of that stuff. But honestly, like, I can't believe it's been 5 years. I literally can't. It's, yeah, I've never loved doing something so much in my entire life. Oh, Colin's 2.5 years old as a hubster. Lucy says, I'm 64 and I only started a year ago. Yeah. Our oldest hub member now, I think, is 83. So there you go. Just showing you that age does not matter at all. Let me just see. Ginny says, I haven't done the review plan due. I think it puts me in the naughty corner. But I'm 60 and thought I'm too old, but my mindset has changed. Brilliant. That's what we want to see. Yeah, and well done, everybody. All wins, but big or small. Yeah, I just want to say that as well, that we do celebrate everybody's wins. And it's so amazing to sit here with Carol now, celebrating your huge transformation and success. But don't forget, when Carol joined, we were celebrating those small wins with Carol. Like the fact that I remember you first deciding that you wanted to focus on a certain type of collection, and we celebrated that. And I remember the first time Carol did a piece of work and it got recognized and you were in the press, and it's important, like you say, to celebrate all those steps along the way, which have amounted to where Carol is now, and everybody else here as well. So I am going to jump to Simone.
Good morning.
Completely different story for you as well, isn't it? We met actually. Simone and I met a few weeks ago in Nashville, which was very exciting.
Fabulous.
It was, wasn't it? And we really did reminisce, didn't we, on your journey and where it all began, and the things that you've gone on to achieve since then. Like, where do we start with this one?
Oh.
So back before you joined.
Yeah.
What was life like then? Gosh.
Well, I was an academic, and I had been teaching art for a very long time at a top research institution. And I had an epiphany saying, wow, this is not what I want to do with my life. What I really want to do with my life is be a full-time artist. I'm fully trained. I have a PhD in practice-based research. Why can't I make a living from my art? Well, because I know nothing about business at all. I'm a hot mess. I'm stressed out. I have high blood pressure. And I remember our first appointment with one another online, and I got the time mixed up. I was so disorganized, and the call's coming through, and I'm still in my pajamas.
Oh, really?
I was like freaking out. And he gave me the best advice ever, and that was to focus on what I really wanted to do. And so over that 3-year period, I have focused on what I really want to do, and that is to represent energy in my textile-based work. And yeah, so it's been wonderful. I've developed a side of myself that I thought wasn't important, and I found out that it's really important. And I'm living my life of purpose, and I feel so immensely happy. It's crazy. I can't wait to get out of bed every morning, 6 a.m. at my little desk out here where I paint and draw. Like painting and drawing, that was something I never thought I would do. I thought, no, I can't. I'm not a painter. I will never paint. And I really enjoy that aspect of my process. I have a really great accountability group, 2 actually, that I speak to every week across the globe. I feel like I'm part of the community. I feel like I'm not alone in this journey. My confidence has expanded, and I had my first solo in a commercial gallery, and I didn't sell out, but I did really well. I did a performance piece this year with my harp, which was dealing with the content, and there is no doubt in my mind that I could not do these things if it wasn't for the hub. I just, I wouldn't be organized enough to be able to carry that through. So the advice, coming into the hub 3 years ago, I felt this sense of shame that, here I am, an academic. I haven't been picked up by a commercial gallery. What's wrong with me? Am I broken? Broken. How come I haven't succeeded? But bad mindset. And so that's all been changed. I'm not as wealthy as I used to be, but I'm so much richer. So
absolutely. And it's so amazing to see, because at the end of the day, you're just being yourself.
Totally me. No apologies. And I'm actually aging younger.
Yeah, you said to me, don't you, that I feel like I'm growing younger?
Yeah. So I feel, I retired at 56. So I did 1 year solo. I had a solo exhibition in New York. Was fantastic, really enjoyed it, but it was a financial disaster. So but now my business is kind of on track. I've doubled my income this year. It's not huge, but I've doubled it. And I was looking through some of my yearly goals, and I'm on track. I've got 1 month to achieve one more, so keep my fingers crossed.
That's amazing, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
And the best thing is seeing people bloom. Like Carol, I remember when you joined, and it was just so beautiful to see that journey. And there's Sabina, that's another one, and Laura. So many people are just growing and blooming, and you just get so excited to see everybody's success, and it really fills your heart with joy, and you just go, oh, this is so great. And it's a really positive energy, and it raises the vibration of the whole earth. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh no, thank you for being part of it. And I think it's so important, isn't it, to remember that as a collective group, we feed off each other. And you can see that it's no coincidence, is it, that this is happening. It's like everyone is here creating their own success in their own ways. And I'm glad that you raised that point around monetary and making a certain type of artwork, because still now I just did a survey recently actually, and a lot of questions came in, and I asked people, you know, what is it you would like to ask? And a lot of people were asking, what art should I make so that it sells? And I, you know, and it's like you need to make the art you want to make, and then you'll start to sell it when you learn the steps. But people think, and it's sad actually to see sometimes so many people getting derailed by looking for the type of art that's going to sell. What is this magic bullet? And the answer's in here, not out there.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think there's a textbook for art. It's definitely an inner journey. And I think you need to be courageous to go on that inner journey.
Absolutely.
But the rewards of doing it is you actually find out who you really are.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify what I just said there around, there are definitely things that are more commercial, things that, you know, trends in the market, maybe red sell more this season. So there are things that do sell, but it does not start there. It starts with what's inside of you, and then you kind of adapt into those things afterwards. But that's what people are hunting for, and it's the wrong way around. It's got to come from you. And actually hearing from Carol and Simone already, I think what's clear is that it took you some time to figure that part out. And that's where people can get really frustrated, because then it's the output is not visible. Like, I don't see where this is taking me. And it can be hard, can't it, to have that trust in the process when you're thinking, but you know, I'm just playing here. Where is it going? I want to know, what should I make? What's going to sell? I'm going to come. Actually, have you got any advice on that in terms of that period of time? And Amanda, if this has happened to you too, please chip in. But just, you know, that those periods of time as an artist where it is about exploring and not about, you know, if I make this, what am I going to get from it straight away? And how to handle that feeling, because it can make you feel anxious.
Yes, definitely. Well, I think that feeling is really acute for me, like just before I show my work. I call it, what the hell was I thinking? Hell was I thinking? And as soon as that thought enters my mind, I take it as a really good sign, because I'm just about to grow. I'm just about to cross a threshold to something that's bigger. So my mind will switch in and go, don't be big, don't expand, stay safe, stay safe. And as soon as I think, what the hell was I thinking? I go, oh, I breathe into that and know that I'm actually crossing that growth threshold. I'm actually doing something that's expanding me. So, yeah, and it happens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
What the hell was I thinking? Why did I use that color? Oh, right. I've learned from that, and I'm going to grow from that. And so,
it's an up and down journey. Amanda, I know you're going to speak to this in a minute about the roller coaster that we're on, because it is a roller coaster, and I'm with you on that, Simone. Sometimes I'm like, what was I thinking? Even now, not even just with, you know, my what now is different. But it still happens even with my work that I'm putting out there, and I just think, what on earth was I thinking with that? And then and it is a roller coaster, isn't it? Yeah. And then you think, no, that makes sense. But Carol, do you have anything to say to this?
Well, I think that having courage, as Simone mentioned, is probably the most important. Every time I even post, I'm so nervous, and I'm so nervous to put it out there, and I at the beginning, in terms of selling, I was sure, and I still landscapes are so popular, and landscapes are selling. And I even went, I studied with a Canadian landscape artist. I went to France to do plein air with him. I was sure that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then it's just not my passion. My passion is people. Now I was able to take the lessons that I learned in terms of his technique, his colors, he's bright, I love the way he paints. So I was able to translate that. But that was a really, really big lesson to admit to myself. I love trees. I love nature. Actually, that's what I have in my home, but it's not what I want to paint. That was a big lesson when I was working on my why.
Yeah, and sometimes we try and convince ourselves, don't we? Because you'd feel like that is going to be the easier option. Please, can we just make landscapes? It would be so much easier. Come on, Carol. But if you don't, it's like the itch that you can't scratch at it. It won't go away, will it? If you don't. And you don't have that same passion like you do now for your work. That's why it's getting noticed and seen, and because you are so passionate about it, and that's why people are listening.
Yeah, it's got to come from your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, you can intellectualize it, but when you drop down to here and let that center actually do the thinking for you, then I think really wonderful things begin to happen in your artwork, and you feel so satisfied, and everybody sees that too in the work.
Yeah. Amanda, I want to come to you, and we'll come back to this topic actually, but I would love to hear just your story first so everyone can hear that, and then we maybe come back to that question around trusting the process and, while you're finding your voice. But share where you were before you joined, because you've had phenomenal success recently. You've had a really turbulent year this year.
I have. Well, I'm in a slightly different situation, I suppose, in the sense that I've been working as a full-time artist for over 10 years.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thrown into that because I separated from my husband, and I needed to find a way to earn some money. And the only thing that I could do with 4 children in tow was to paint pictures. And I'd actually dared to go to a little local gallery. This is about 12, 13 years ago, I think, with a painting, and said, what do you think? And they took it on, they sold it within a week. And I only had the one painting. I didn't have any other paintings. Sort of that was a massive encouragement for me, because it sold for quite a good amount of money. I was quite stunned, and it just sort of went on from there. And then really I started, I had a friend who had a vision handicap, and she had this since she was 18. She was 42, I think, when we met, and she never liked talking about this handicap. And I said to her, why don't you come and paint some pictures with me? Because if you paint, the nice thing for you is that you can see a little bit, but you won't get bogged down with details and making it realistic, and you'll just have fun looking at shapes and light, and it could be really interesting. Anyway, so she agreed, and she came along, and it was fantastic, and it massively, massively increased her confidence. And from then on, she went and said to people, if I don't recognize you in the street, please don't mind. I've got this eye problem. I've got this rare disease, and I don't see properly. I only see shapes and light. But she created the most wonderful art, and she stayed with me for about 4 years doing art. And gradually, so that it wasn't just her, a few other friends joined in, and that started my art courses. And I used to paint alongside them a lot of the time, so they could see what I did. And of course, then I started selling little bits and pieces and getting known, and I kind of fell into it really, and it was great because I needed to earn something, but it was it was a drop in the ocean of what I actually needed, bringing up 4 children, but it helped. And then obviously all my children have long gone now. I was just saying to Michelle earlier, I was hoping to blow up some balloons for our party. I don't normally wear little bows.
So you made
my kids left so long ago that all my balloons are rotten. So sorry about that. No balloons. Anyway, so now obviously, the children have all gone, and I'm really sort of like have to do this on my own and earn my money. And I think what the Hub's done for me, and I've only been in the Hub for a year, is that if you're working as an artist full-time on your own, even though I belong to art groups locally and what have you, they're not there all the time. They're not there something that I can dip in and out of at any time of night and day. And so it's a lonely old business being an artist on your own. I work from home. I'm not in my studio because my studio's got no, I can't get any Wi-Fi up there because it's 2 floors up. So I'm down here. But what the hub has done for me is it's been an affirmation, if you like, of the fact that I am on the right track, and to stop questioning, to go back to what you were talking about before, stop questioning whether I ought to be making something more commercial because this is my living and I need to pay my bills. Should I be making something more commercial? Would I be earning better money if I just did this or that or the other? Which is not my why. And I've sort of known my why pretty much from day one, but I haven't been able to articulate it except in paint. And now I think what the hub has allowed me to do is to learn to articulate that in words as well. So I have my elevator speech. I know what to say when people say, why do you do what you do? That has been huge. I think that has really pushed me forward, because that in itself has also been an affirmation that what I'm doing is me and it's right, and that will connect with the right people. And if it doesn't connect with other people, they're not my people. So there's no point worrying about that. It's like, you know, constantly putting on a mask and being someone you're not if you're not creating art that comes from here.
Yeah.
Mine does, and my art is not necessarily happy art. It doesn't necessarily bring joy. Sometimes it can be quite tormented. It certainly has a sense of loneliness. But people tap into that, and people see solitude in very different ways. It's not always a negative thing. And that certainly resonates with a lot of people. I think since I've been in the hub for this year, just having that constant company, because it's an international group as well, you know, that you can always find somebody online. You can always just zip into the hub and read other people's stories. And that, you know, that just gets me fired up. Just, you know, being able to comment and look what other people are doing when I'm a bit sort of, you know, lost my mojo, not sure what I'm doing. I've noticed that when I've been very busy and I've had kind of time out of the hub and out of looking at what everyone's doing, I've started feeling a bit sort of about my own work again. And that when I then go back into the hub and I see what everybody's doing and I'm communicating with people, it brings back those affirmations that I'm on the right track, that I'm doing what I should be doing. So as far as sort of success stories go, just a few weeks into being into the hub, I won a Grand Prix, because I live in France, of a painting salon. So I was the artist who won the painting prize. That was huge for me. That was really a massive affirmation. And then I won another one a few weeks ago. And although the beginning of this week was quite quiet, year was quite quiet, I still very much felt I needed to stick to what I was doing, believe in the process, keep going, keep communicating, keep affirming to myself what I believed in. And actually in the last 6 weeks, I've suddenly sold a whole pile of work. And that was a lot to do with self-belief, and received 3 commissions, which will keep me going until February. So that's fantastic. All for 2023, I've got loads of exhibitions, but I've also worked out that I have to be realistic. So I'm being a lot more realistic about what I can actually achieve. And not, there was a huge salon that I normally take part in March. And that, of course, Black Friday sale, I thought, yes, great, you know, talk to my partner, we usually do it together. And I said, actually, no, we've got too much on. We're not going to produce quality work if we do this salon as well. Plus, it's the salon you pay for. And I thought, no, let's just not this year. Let's just concentrate on the things that I've got, the gallery work that I've got to do, and go with that and be happy that and make that a success rather than trying to do too much, because you're so used to not being offered exhibitions that when you suddenly get offered loads, you think, yeah, I've got to do more, I've got to do more. And of course, you have to get to a point where you go, no, because I'm going to push myself, I'm going to stress myself, and I'm going to not produce quality work.
Yeah, so, spread yourself too thin. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So that's quite important to know, you know, because your quality work is what's going to sell, and your work that has all hallmarks of you and who you are and why you make it, and that's so important.
And how empowered to turn something down like that. Like,
Yeah,
I'm turning, like years ago, you would never have dreamt of turning that
no,
down. And now
no.
here you are being,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
And so in terms of the direction of your work, then when you joined, were you pretty much clear on the type of work that you knew you wanted to make, or has that changed, would you say?
No, I was pretty much clear. So
Yeah.
what I'm making has not changed particularly.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I make that that I like better than other things. The
Yeah.
things that I don't like quite as much perhaps are the ones that do sell more, but that's because they're location oriented. So that doesn't surprise me. However, the running line, sometimes I can only remember how to say things in French. Carol will understand me. The fil de conducteur, which means you're running thread through your work.
Yes.
That's something that, even though I do different themes, I do some location stuff, I do some other things which are a bit more particular perhaps, that thread always runs through, which is very much light perspective and perhaps a sense of solitude, but not necessarily in a negative way, more as a peace and tranquility way. So but what being in the hub has done is it has affirmed that I'm on the right track, that is what I want to do, that is who I am, that I do have people to speak to about that, who get it, who totally tap into my why. That has been great. That has been great. Apart from that, I must shout out to my lovely accountability group.
Yeah. we do.
The famous David Judd, international selling artist.
Words you never thought would come out of your mouth. But no, thank you.
Reading the comments.
Yeah, thank you for sharing about the community as well, because it is a phenomenal community. I know I am biased, but it really, 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 really is. Like the hub. Yeah, the hub is a platform, by the way, for everyone who's listening who isn't a member. The hub is a platform with resources, and we've got a video we can share you the inside, but it's playlists and lessons and a roadmap to help you along your journey. And then there is the community, and the community is it's just amazing, and it's really hard to describe actually the power of the community, because it is, I think
the thing is it doesn't matter really where you are on the roadmap. I come out as established, but that's because I've been doing it for 10 years, and I have shown in the gallery, and my website is farmed out to somebody else.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm a major successful super selling artist. I'm not. I'm still just managing to get by.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's coming up. Last year, talk about best year yet. I did best year yet last January, and last year I had my best year yet. Financially, I had my best year yet. This year I'm slightly down, but not by much. So it doesn't matter how established you are. You need a community around you, and that was what was missing for me. Even though I have, as I say, French art groups here, it's only when we're putting on an exhibition or what have you, that we kind of meet up or communicate. And I can't call them friends in the same way as I can call hubsters friends. I just feel like everyone's my friend.
I know.
It doesn't matter how short or long you've been in the hub. You get to know everyone so quickly that you wonder how you managed before when you weren't in it. And two, you feel like you've been there for years as well as everybody else, and everyone else feels like you've been there for years, even when you haven't. I don't know, there's a core, a real core group. Everybody is, and also I've seen no negativity. Everyone is so positive and so encouraging. There are so many groups where, somebody's always got something a little bit backstabbing to say or what have you. There's just nothing. And that, I think, is down to you, Michelle, because you exude positivity and encouragement. You just never have a grotty word to say about anything or anybody. And I just think that rubs off on us all.
Oh, thank you. And it does, it's right, the community, and it is no accident. Again, it's no accident, is it, that we're all like that? And it is. What's your experience, Simone, inside the community? You've got 2 accountability groups, haven't you, as well? And
yeah, just wonderful. But I just wanted to reinforce what Amanda just said, that the kindness that's within the group, it does stem from your authenticity, Michelle. And I was just so delighted to meet you in person and know that is really the authentic you. I know that you've had some horrible people say things to you about what you're doing and how it's fantasy what you preach, but actually it's so not. It's real and it's empowering to so many people. I'm a long-time artist, trained, exhibiting, but to have the confidence to be authentically you, and I think that's the key. And that's what you give to us. It's like permission. Yeah, you can be totally weird person and that's good. Go for it.
Because it's hard to do in today's world, because we are saturated with messages of how we should be living our lives. And that's why I think there is an issue with it at the moment, people just being themselves and being judged. And because there is a lot of judgment on people.
Yeah.
Because what you just said, I mean, even just a few weeks ago, I was getting a lot of grief off someone for what I do. And this is part of the job where I've had to really grow my own mindset, because I'm passionate about putting this message out there and helping people, but there's a wrath of things that I have to deal with alongside that. And sometimes I retreat away and then remind myself why I'm doing it and come back with full force. And that's the same with artists as well. There will always be someone who does not like your work. There'll be someone who has something to say about your work that's really mean and really awful. And that is inevitable. And that's something that I remind myself all the time, that with what I do, there's always going to be someone that hates what I do, always, and hate me and hate my message. And sometimes they're just out in full force and it can knock you. But this is what we cultivate inside the hub, is that finding your voice and finding your people. And it's retreating back to those people when the mean ones come out, and not stopping what you're doing because of them.
Exactly. Yeah. To keep going. I mean, I did a lot of research before I joined the hub, because I knew I needed help to get this business side. And so I looked into a number of different groups, but it was you that made the difference, like your personality and your generosity, and your authenticity to sometimes you're a bit of a hot mess, and that's good. We all relate to that.
This year I have been. Whoa.
and you keep it real, because nobody can have perfect happy times all the time. But it's when you are in the dip, when you're at the bottom of the roller coaster ride, how you respond to that, and you give us examples about how you flip your mindset, like your podcast the other day, that words matter. Words really matter. So, and it's the words that you tell yourself. So checking those and going, well, hold on a minute, let me change that, because that's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I must admit, sorry, Michelle, what I really liked this year was, following your progress with climbing your mountain, what have you, which was a metaphorical mountain as well as a real mountain. And I have post-traumatic stress syndrome from a terrorist attack years ago. And that's been really hard to deal with. And I'm trying to run a business, because your art is a business when you do it full time. And sometimes that's not very easy. And I get very stressed, and stress really gets in my way. And something that I found by following your journey as well, and you being so, as Simone says, so authentic with us, gave me courage too. And I hope that the support that you got from Hubsters, because I know you did, also gave you a lot of strength, because I've just found that throughout all this, you know, we in the Hub have been able to be very honest with each other. And there are people who've written posts that are not 100% art related and said, I'm really struggling. And then you just get this bombardment of amazing comments. And even reading other people's struggles, strangely enough, maybe it's weird, gives me strength, because I think, well, I'm not alone. You know, we're all in this together. We're all having a hard time, all from different things. But we all have this united thing in common, which is our art and our belief in ourselves, or our need to believe in ourselves about our art and following that journey, because that is the one constant, in fact. When everything, all exterior changes, that is our one constant, and we all share that constant of being creative. And I just think when we are in a place where we can show our vulnerability and not be scared to, and I think that comes from you not being scared to show your vulnerability sometimes, which makes you so totally human to us, which I think in a lot of other groups you just don't see. You know, the mentor is the mentor. They've got to constantly be the strong person, the this, the that, and the other, and never let the side down and what have you. And I just think, you know, actually having a mentor that goes, no, I am human and I have some really rubbish times and I need to get through those, and I might just be in the background a little bit for a few weeks and I'll be back. You know, that almost sort of helps us, because we go, yeah, we get that. Good. We're not the only ones. You know, she's not this all fantastic, you know, permanently smiley and everything's great human being. It's somebody we can relate to. And I think that's been important, actually. Not that I wish you to go.
It's life. It's life, isn't it? Yeah, it's life. I mean, all of us here now, I mean, look at Amanda, in your own life. I mean, you've experienced some really horrific things this year in terms of was it the floods and the storms and the
tornado? Yeah.
Tornadoes
in France, who knew? Yeah.
And it's life, isn't it? And I think this is where our platform is good as well. It's real. We are real. So I'm not here ever painting a picture that you can become an artist and you can make loads of money and then your life is sorted, because it you know, money comes, like you were saying on the call in the Hub the other day, money comes, money goes. And that's life. And that's what we, you know, portray here. It's life. And there's going to be times where you're up here and there's going to be times when you're down here. And that's the reality. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. And thank you for acknowledging that it's okay as well, because I will admit there have been times where people have said, oh, you know, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't really share. And I see other people who I looked up to and they would never dream of sharing anything like that. You know, they've got this facade and everything's good and you can't see what's going on at all. There's no cracks in the armor. And there was times where I questioned, you know, should I be that person? But it's just not me. I can't be that. I can't. So it goes back to what we were saying, wasn't it, at the beginning, around finding our truth and being courageous to do it. And it is really scary. I will say actually on that to any artists out there where you do have someone say something negative, to keep going and realize that they're not your people. Because I had this happen the other day. I did a podcast and I will openly admit it was not my best podcast. I even thought it afterwards, but I'm a done better than perfect person. So I put it out there. And someone picked it up and they were really, really rude about it and really nasty, actually. And some of the hubs just jumped on to defend, which was really sweet. And his comment kind of triggered me for about 10 minutes. And then I reframed it and just thought, he's just not my who. But the strangest thing that happened then the next day was somebody messaged me to say that was the most important podcast I've ever heard in my life. And so it just always reminds me, you know, that someone else's rubbish and awful is somebody else's gold and treasure. And that's what you have to remember about your art. It's the same for anything. And the more you do put it out there and you find those people that connect with it, then the more, when those nasty people come along, you just go back to your people, you know. So just remembering that, I think, is really important. Carol, have you got anything to add about the community aspect of the hub? Because I know you've you come to our studio sessions as well. So we do studio sessions every Friday where we hang out together, which are
Oh my
amazing.
God, I love that. I love my Friday mornings.
Yeah.
You know, here in Canada, for any other Canadian, it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and
it's an early one.
I was in my pajamas. I mean, I dressed up for you today, but you know, but that is really, really an important part of my week. I was also thinking, as you're talking about the kind of the ripple effect of some of the messages that we hear over and over, like it's not your who, it's not that is ingrained now in me, and that I hear myself saying to other people, because it's so much part of my beliefs now. I mean, it doesn't mean that I won't wobble, and that's a new word that I learned from my friends.
Yeah, the wobble.
The other one, I'm chuffed. That's another word that
Yeah.
I'm
so chuffed.
The other thing that I really love, Michelle, about what you do too, in terms of your generosity, is how you introduce us to people in your world who have been so incredible, that I kind of, you know, that I listen to, that I re-listen to, that are I really, really enjoy, and I've learned so much, and I follow many on other podcasts, just to keep being inspired, and I really, really appreciate all the people that you keep introducing us to.
Oh, that's nice to know. Yeah, because I'm the same. I call in on those people, you know, on those wobble days. That's the first thing I do. If I'm having a wobble, you know, self-doubt or something's happening, or you feel like you just can't get out of bed, or, you know, whatever it is. Yeah, podcasts. And I put the people who I have, my 5 usually, on standby, and I just listen to other people. So yeah, it really does help, doesn't it? So I'm going to just join. Lena's joined us. Hello. Amazing. Can't wait to welcome you. Laura's tuning in. Yay. I've just had a business swap thanks to United ArtSpace and the lovely Hub community. I have confidence for this kind of thing. Wow, a business swap. I can't wait to hear all about that, Laura. Oh, Tarina's with us. No idea what this is. Go and check the link above. I've put a link to the Hub. You can go and learn more about it, and you can go and check out on our website as well if you want to. But it's lovely, isn't it, being part of this conversation and intrigued. Yes, welcome. Sarah's going to join. Oh, hello, Sarah. Sarah took the 7 Keys course recently and is lovely. Same, Janine. I'm 61, exhibiting properly for the first time this year. Wow! That's amazing. Still learning and having so much fun. Oh gosh, that just gave me goosebumps. That's brilliant. Okay, let me just see. Jean's been a member for 4 years now. Wow, so you're a very, very beginner. 18 months for Laura. And celebrating 3 years on my own in business. That is a big milestone to celebrate. Well done. Oh, Rose is with us. Hi, Rose. You nearly missed it, but you're with us. So good to see you. Oh, right. The first exhibition you took part in was the Hub, the Athens. There you go. It's a sign to join us. To be honest, when I called it the Hub 5 years ago, the Hub was a very common term, and it is now. But back then, because I did my research, it wasn't really used that much. Obviously tapped into a trend that I didn't realize. Oh, yeah, you came across this by accident. Must be right for me. I think most people, how did you find us, everyone here? How did you find?
I found you on Instagram. It was a sponsored ad, I think. And, you know, there's hundreds of them on your Instagram feed. And of course, they're all, you know, all the algorithms for me, everything's art. So yeah. I'm always getting these things. I think the first thing that struck me was it wasn't an American. Yeah. So that was a good starting point for me. I don't know, just in that 15 seconds or whatever that you had to say your bit, something, and I think it was the one that you do before the 7 Keys, you know, the free 2-week thing. Yeah. And I didn't actually do that 2 weeks because I was on exhibition, and I was so determined not to lose it. I came off exhibition and I had the Saturday to do 2 weeks work. And I binge watched. It's like, I mean, I've never binge watched anything because I don't have box sets or any of that kind of stuff. I binge watched you for 24 hours and wrote everything down. And it was just, but it was 24 hours of being completely blown away. And it was like, well, I just have to do this 7 keys thing. I have to do this. And you know, for me, it was a no-brainer. So that's how I done it.
Oh, I'm just going to celebrate, Sarah. I'll be 64 in January and I'm raring to go. Yes. Oh, I love this one. Hanny says, I've been with you 2.5 years, celebrating that I have 2 commissions just before this call. Yay. All the good vibes, you see. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, Sandra says, Simone, you seem so much more settled and happy now. Oh, good. Yeah, it's good to see, isn't it? Let me just see. This is a quote that's going to be written down. I'm not as wealthy as I used to be, but I'm so much. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. A lot of us are in Simone's position. Wherever we are, we wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the Hub, Michelle, and the Hubbits. Or what's this one? Hubbites. A new one, yes. Let me just see before we wrap up. Oh, Sandra's celebrating a big win this week. Is my first inquiry from a stranger about the price of a picture I posted. Baby steps. Exactly. I just want to share this. This is what goes on in the Hub. You'll come in with your small wins, big wins. It's a big win for Sandra. For someone else, it's a small win. It's like there's no judgment. And we're here to celebrate that. An inquiry. You know, it's these things that sometimes you feel like you've got to have the big sale or the sellout show. Or no, it's really important to celebrate these steps along the way, 100%. So we're celebrating you. Because look at that, I'd never be posting on social media without you. Oh, oh, I can't believe I've managed to do this session without crying. Because I'm a crier, you know that.
Oh no, we haven't done our job.
Before she pushes that.
I almost cried though.
I had a couple of tears where I was like, hold it together, Michelle. I think it was when, especially talking about the people that have been mean, I was like, yeah. Okay. Oh, there's lots. I just want to wrap these up now. Thank you so much for being with us to celebrate. We're going to do another little celebration on Wednesday for anybody that couldn't turn up today, with some other Hub members as well. Oh, there's someone trying to find love on a dating site. No, thank you. Stop, you know, you can't gate crash this party. They boost algorithms though, that's the thing. I should have probably left that. Oh, look at you all. It's so, oh my god, I can't actually go through all the comments. There are so many. I'll go back and read them all, I promise. Thank you so much for being here and celebrating with us. It means the world. Thank you, Carol, Simone and Amanda, for sharing your stories. And thank you for being part of the Hub and supporting us and sharing your journey as well with others. It's really, really, here we go. Okay, right. Take care, everybody. I'll see you all soon, and thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.